Hi, I'm Christy.
And I'm Richard.
That's Richard.
And welcome back to our YouTube channel, Fulfill the Game of Life. So today we're 3 days away from our first move. If you've watched our prior videos, you know that we're moving from month to month. And we're just 3 days away, and we have all kind of emotions because of that, right? Some good, some bad. We want to share some of the things that we would definitely do different after our first month, almost month, here in Lisbon, Portugal. And one thing you're going to notice that's different this time than any of our other videos is we're trying to solve how do you let people see all the things that you see and all the excitement that you see sitting in front of a wall or sitting in front of a balcony. And you know, there's just no way to show you all the stuff that we saw and show you the excitement that we love that we're living here. So here's going to be our first attempt. We're going to basically put some of our best footage behind us as we're talking. It's not going to be flawless. We're working on the technical capability, and we're honestly purchasing a green screen so we can hopefully make this look a lot better. But you're going to see some things go by and places we visited, some time-lapse captures with the clouds moving over.
Gorgeous time-lapse.
Our trip to the aqueduct,
right?
Which was kind of a 3D experience with artists.
That was amazing.
Michelangelo. Yeah, it looked fantastic. May not look as good here in the video, but it was fantastic. Some of the downtown footage. We're just going to show you what we saw as we talk through it. So hopefully it's just another element to kind of keep you engaged and be excited with us and follow us along our journey. So before we get started in those things, really top 5 things we would do different after being here for almost a month and preparing to move to our next Airbnb stay, kind of out in the greater Portugal landscape. So before we do that, there were a couple of things I wanted to address, a couple of comments that we've had, and I just wanted to throw out a few things. We've had a couple of people now say the music is in the background is too loud. Now we think the second one was watching an older video. The last couple of 3 videos we turned it way down. We're open to comments. Please put comments down there if you want us to get rid of it completely. Just when we first started, I didn't like the true silence in the background, so I stuck the music there. Apparently it was too loud, so we got it turned down. Just let us know in the comments if you want us to get rid of the music background altogether. We're not attached to that song at all, so that would work for us. Second thing is this, we do have people asking cost of living. And 2 thoughts for us that the reason we've not published cost of living yet is 2 things. Expats everywhere right now has a ton of things going on with cost of living.
Right, they do.
They went and found people, they're working in groups to hit more cities so you really get some idea of cost of living really in greater Portugal. And then second thing for us is we're in Lisbon. We're pretty confident this is the highest cost in the country. Maybe the Algarve may have higher cost, but in general, taking the cost in Lisbon and then generalizing to Portugal, we think would be deceptive, or at least likely to be deceptive. And we don't want to confuse people. In our next move, we're way away from the big cities. And we are really anxious to compare the cost. We'll let you know what that looks like, and we'll show you the outer regions and Lisbon, and we'll compare them and get you the information. So that said, let's get going with the top 5 things we would do differently after being here for 1 month.
Number 1 is the phones. We had so much trouble with the phones that we made a video about it.
It was pure mayhem for us, right?
It was mayhem and confusing a little bit, but make sure that you understand before you leave the U.S. your international coverage with your current carrier.
And remember, the issue isn't so much getting phone calls, because you can get those with WhatsApp, or you can communicate with people in the United States with no problem with things other than a cell phone, but you can't get the security codes flowing through all of your internet access.
That's pretty critical when you need to access a bank account or whatever account you need to get, and there's a 2-step authentication, and you need that text message coming through.
So before you leave the United States, understand your international coverage and turn it on.
Right. The other thing was
setting up a porting.
Yep, setting up your number to get ported with a company. We did have a viewer suggest iPlum, and Richard did set up his phone with an iPlum account. I believe it's about $5 a month.
$5 a month.
And it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, and let me give you a little bit of definition what the word porting means, what the real definition is. They close your account in the United States. If you're with Verizon or Metro or whoever you're with, they close that account, they take the phone number and they assign it to the new company, which for us is iPlum. Google does provide a similar service, but they assign it to basically a new carrier. And what that carrier does is it maintains your phone number, and when you receive calls or text, it forwards them over into the international package.
Right.
So you don't really carry expensive coverage for your cell phone, but you get to keep your original cell phone number. So that was a pretty critical miss for us. And then to your point, if it's possible to get international SIM cards.
I don't know if I read it or I heard it somewhere, but I think in the airports they do offer that for you to get an international SIM card. We actually should have done a lot more research on that before we left as well, but
yeah, so what we essentially have right now is we have two cell phones. We have the international SIM card that has its own unique number that's unique to Portugal, which we use for local calling, and we still have the port forwarding through iPlum. That's our original phone number back in the United States, where the data will still flow through and we'll still get messages and voicemails and those things. So understand the phone before you get here or you'll pay for it. And speaking of paying for it, number 2.
Banking.
Where you pay for everything. Banking was a huge learning for us around a few things. Let me say, we have different banking accounts.
We do.
And I bank at BB&T.
And I have USAA.
And we've experienced two completely different worlds with the two banks. Essentially, the worst has come to my side. It's been pretty easy for you.
Not such a headache. But
not such a headache, but for me, here's what's happened. Because I'm logging in from an international IP address, the security for BB&T detects that I'm international, and it's literally locked me out of my account more than once. First, it locked me from even getting to the BB&T account, and then I had to call them. They corrected it. It lasted one day, reset again where I was locked out again, and the timing became critical because it was on a weekend. I needed money to buy the car, so the way I worked around it was a VPN, so a virtual private network. If you're not familiar with them, if you're going to move over here, you probably should get familiar with them, and because they're also likely to be the solution to the TV streaming that we talked about before. So VPNs, I could get on my VPN and make it look like I was logging in from a different country. So I could log into Switzerland, which then told the bank that I was logging in from Switzerland, and lo and behold, I could log in again. So you think, well, that may be kind of sneaky. So I get on the phone, I told BB&T exactly what I did, and the lady on the other end of the phone said, keep doing that. We don't block IPs from Switzerland, so just use it. Now, if I didn't have VPN already, I'd be in an unbelievable mess because I had to call them every time I was trying to log in. It's just a mess. So the banking thing, once again, getting the money and access to my accounts and moving money around has just not been friendly to me. And then what's your experiences?
With me for USAA, before I left, I did go on to my online account, and I did indicate that I would be traveling. So I'm almost certain that probably had a part to play in that. But again, USAA is for a lot of military individuals, so they're used to having their members travel all over the world. So I think that also helps with having less restrictions. But they do send notifications actually if they see some unusual activity. So that is actually
there's security still there.
Exactly.
They're still watching, and that's important.
very important. So
last
that
piece
was
on the
easy.
banking.
Sorry.
Last piece on the banking is if you know you're going to make a big purchase, try to get the money into the foreign account here before you leave, because our last resort was to basically wire money, and wiring money without being in the bank in the United States also created a problem. So just understand how you can physically move money from bank to bank internationally from your bank. It may be worth having a little appointment with those guys wherever you bank to fully understand it. All right, and on to number 3.
Packing.
Yay, packing. Well, we showed you in our introductory video that you saw 5 pieces of luggage, almost 300 pounds worth of packing, and here we are 3 weeks later, almost 4 weeks later, and we'll tell you we learned a ton of lessons with packing.
We did. I did.
Okay.
A lot of self-discovery.
A lot of stuff. I like that. Very nicely said. So let me start with this. Traveling for many years, if you remember 2 rules, at least for me, they take away all travel concerns, and there is simply this, right? Number 1, if there are critical things, obviously pay the most attention to them. If you have prescription medicine, if you have prescription glasses, or you have stuff that's difficult to replace, you must obviously treat it and be really aware of where it's at all times.
Yep.
And we would even suggest, honestly, storing it in the same place that you store your passport, because you're not leaving the country without your passport, so you're not leaving the country without your prescription medication. That's our suggestion. But number 2, this is the most comforting thought over my 20 years of traveling, and it just takes all stress away from traveling. The reality is this. If you get in the car leaving, or you're on the plane, and it suddenly occurs to you that you have forgotten your razor or your jacket, or whatever the case may be, the simple fact is this. In the United States, there's a Walmart in every city. So you just go buy it again. And now that we're here, let's say the same thing for Lisbon, right?
Well, Lisbon is huge, and there's stores on every single corner, more than one. So there's
nothing
no worry.
you could forget that you can't replace as soon as you get here. So don't worry about it. Just take a deep breath and pack what you think is reasonable, and just know if you miss it, you're going to go out shopping for it on day 2.
Yeah, I think I was pretty unreasonable with my packing.
Yeah, maybe. Just to give a little bit more definition, I did have a viewer ask the question, what did you actually pack? For me, just as a real brief overview, I had about 2 pair of jeans, 3 pair of shorts, 3 dress shirts, I think 1 pair of dress pants, and 1 pair of dress shoes, just in case we did something kind of formal. Probably about 8 t-shirts, which you guys see every time we make a video. I'm wearing something different. I brought 1 heavy jacket and 1 set of thermals, just because I know the cold weather is eventually coming, and 2 pair of shoes, 1 for slippers for walking around a cold floor because I know it's coming. And otherwise, that was pretty much it. My second case, as we said in the last video, was my computer, and I considered it critical. You simply can't really buy a video card right now, so we just tore it apart, put it back together. So that's pretty much all I brought. It was pretty minimalistic in preparation, and I've not regretted it in any way.
And my packing, I think I have regretted not letting go of a lot more things. I packed way too much, and we keep strolling down. I keep seeing all these stores along the way, and I'm simply not going to buy anything because I brought so much. So I wouldn't have brought the amount of clothes that I brought. I think what's funny, I was looking through how many pairs of socks I brought. Yeah. Maybe 27 pair, that's a little excessive.
But her feet are warm.
They are.
And she doesn't have to wash clothes very often.
That was maybe the point.
So let's give this one practical view. Any local fashion that you walk around and you may see that, you're not quite matching what you like that other people are wearing. Once you've already packed your suitcases, absolutely packed full of clothes from the United States.
I couldn't fit anymore in my suitcases, so that's
you're
I'm
left with throwing it away, right? If you were going to fit the local fashion, you'd have to throw away the clothes you brought here because you can't move but so many.
No, but I did pie. I'm thinking about food. I must be hungry. I did buy another pair of sandals, which, you know, it was a good deal. They were so cute, so I couldn't pass them up.
And on to number 4. Choosing where we stay. This is a pretty minor thing. I just want to hit it very briefly. We love where we're staying. We have a great view. We're in walking distance of true downtown,
Yes.
probably 12, 13 minutes worth of walking. No complaints. We love it. But we've had time to explore the city, and we would basically say this. Lisbon is the city of 7 hills, so there are hills all around, which give you really unique views. And just walking around the city, the one place we would probably stay is more on the western side. And basically for this, we would love to wake up and just look straight out and see the castle, and then look up the Tagus River. That would be our ideal place to stay here in Lisbon, just because that's what fascinates us. But there are beautiful views all around, and again, we love where we did stay. So here's kind of the last one, and we do think this is really the most important one. Number 5.
How long we stayed in the first place.
Yeah, so we even talked about this back when we were in the United States, and we're kind of asking ourselves, is 1 month in each place going to be too long? Is it going to be too short? What are we going to feel like? Are we going to be moving too much, and so on and so forth? Well, we can tell you after 1 month, almost 1 month here in Lisbon,
it's not enough.
Yeah, 1 month is too quick in Lisbon for the first month. Now, to put a little framing around this, we are still terribly excited. We're already looking at our next stay. We're pulling up stuff on Google Maps. We're getting excited. So we have the same excitement for 3 days from now in our second stay that we had moving here originally. So that's awesome. That's what we expected, and what we wanted to happen is to live a life of continuous excitement.
Right.
However,
with the amount of things that we've had to figure out and overcome, it just we didn't have enough tourist days, and you know, there's just so much to see, and it's such a beautiful place. I wish we had another month here to really do the tourism.
Yeah, our days disappeared. Our days getting cell phones fixed. Our days to the banking, getting a ATM card that worked, and getting our, you wouldn't believe how many of our days just really disappeared.
They did.
And then making videos they take so much more time than we ever imagined. Each video is a legitimate 7 hours worth of work by the time you kind of craft what you're going to say, you record it, you edit it, and you get it out there and you publish. 7 hours. So each time we publish a video, we've lost a day of potential tourism.
Right.
So we've been here 3 weeks. We legitimately believe we've had 4 to 5 days of tourism, true tourism.
Right.
And look, there are so many things to do here in Lisbon. You couldn't do it in a month, even if you had every day. I don't believe you could do it in a month.
Yep.
So we both came to the conclusion in the first day, and right now we'd say the first day only, you're going to spend most of your first month setting up your life. Now, if you were coming somewhere and setting up your electricity and your cell phone and your cable and all that other stuff, you'd spend even more days than we did.
Right.
So if you're going to do something like us, which is month to month moving, we would strongly suggest the very first month or the first day, stay 2 months. It just would slow things down, and you'd feel comfortable getting everything in place. And then I think monthly right now, I'm feeling pretty good that'll be the right length.
I think so too.
And we'll let you know how that turns out over the next series of videos. So that basically is bringing us to the end of this video. This should be the last video that we film here in Lisbon.
Yes.
And
for now, we'll be back.
We'll be back, but in a new location. So
thank you so much for joining us. If you're new to our channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss new content, and give us a thumbs up.
And thank you for joining us again. We really appreciate you sharing your time with us. And we hope that we're bringing you good content. If there's anything you want to see, add it down into the comments, and we'll try our best to get it there. Have a great day.
Have an awesome day. Ciao.
Ciao.